Okay guys, it's education time. I'm a Swiftie. I've been listening to her music for nearly a decade. I haven't listened to the new album because I've heard it's bad and I'm nervous. But I did listen to Fate of Ophelia, and because of the popularity of Fate of Ophelia, I've seen some of the worst, most incorrect Shakespeare takes that I've ever seen. So, education time from somebody who's read Hamlet in the past month, okay? So, Hamlet is a play by Shakespeare. It's a tragedy. It's one of his best, if not his best, in my opinion, okay? And that's relatively agreed on in the community of Shakespeare lovers, such as myself, okay? Hamlet is about a man named Hamlet. Who would have thought? Hamlet's father, also named Hamlet, has died right before the play starts. And within 2 months, his mother, Gertrude, has married his father's brother, so his uncle, Claudius. And so the play starts pretty much with Hamlet grieving and then seeing his father's ghost. And his father's ghost tells him that he was murdered by Claudius. So Hamlet, the main character, Hamlet Jr., is like, well, I gotta kill Claudius now because he killed my father, okay? So that is the main plot, is Hamlet trying to kill Claudius because Claudius killed Hamlet Sr., okay? Now there's all this other plot with Ophelia, right? So Hamlet Sr. and Gertrude, and then later Claudius and Gertrude have an advisor named Polonius. Polonius has a daughter named Ophelia. She is the main point of this controversy with Taylor Swift, okay? So, Hamlet and Ophelia have been dating for a while. He's been writing her love letters and seeing her all the time that he can. Like, he shows that he loves her in a lot of ways. And so, he goes crazy. A lot of interpretations he doesn't actually go crazy. So that's like an actual controversy of Hamlet, of does Hamlet go crazy? That's something that's up to interpretation in a lot of ways. But Polonius is like, oh, I know he's crazy because he's in love with my daughter. Because he had told Ophelia to stay away from Hamlet because he's like, it's dangerous for you to be in a relationship with somebody way above your status. Like, be careful, stay away from him. And so she does. She follows Polonius' advice. And so Hamlet goes crazy. He's not going crazy because of that, but he does go crazy. And so Polonius is like, I got it. It's because he's in love with my daughter and she's been, like, staying away from him. So he tells Claudius, the king, and it's like, okay, let's spy on them. We'll put Ophelia in his path and we'll see what happens. And so they do. And they hide behind a thing. And I've seen takes that, like, that's when Hamlet kills Polonius. No, that's later, okay? But they have this scene where this is the get thee to a nunnery scene, okay? Where Ophelia is like, okay, Hamlet, what's going on? And Hamlet's like, I hate you and I never loved you and you should go to a nunnery and die. Basically. Like a summarization of what he says, okay? And then, so the play continues, and then the scene where Polonius dies is when Hamlet is confronting his mother, Gertrude, about the fact that his father was murdered and that she's married to the murderer, basically. And so he hears a noise, and he thinks that the person who's hiding and spying on them is Claudius, so he stabs him or shoots him, depending on how modern the interpretation is. And it's actually Polonius, and so Polonius dies. Now, Ophelia is sad at this point, right? She's heartbroken because she's been basically screamed at by her boyfriend. But then her father dies, and her boyfriend kills her father, and then the royal family covers it up because they're covering for Hamlet. Then she goes crazy, okay? She goes crazy because her father is murdered by the love of her life, or so she thought until he screamed at her. So she goes crazy. And then there's a reported action from Gertrude about her death scene. It's very long, it's very romantic, which is odd because it's death. So it's interesting because It's like, were you there, Gertrude? Because why do you know that she was beside the willow tree and she was weeping? And then there's the debate of, did she actually kill herself, or did she just lay down in the brook and because she was crazy, she just drowned? So that's the debate with Ophelia. And what the tragedy of Ophelia and the fate of Ophelia is not that she goes crazy for love. It's that she is mistreated by every single person, but specifically the men in her life. She's mistreated by Hamlet. She's mistreated by her father, Polonius, and she is mistreated by her brother, Laertes, which in some interpretations is a sort of incestuous obsession that he has with her. So that's another topic, but basically Ophelia has no agency and no control of her own life, and she's being done wrong by every single person in her life, and it drives her to madness. And so when people are like, but like if she'd met the right person, which is what Taylor Swift is saying, and I'm like, no, she needed men to leave her alone. She did not need a new man to save her. Now, looking at the song in the context of the Taylor Swift mythos of her life, her relationships, her music, the song works. But I don't think she should have used Ophelia, who has such a specific connotation to her name and to her story, because being like, oh, I'm like a Shakespeare fan, and I think that Ophelia just really needed, no, objectively incorrect opinion. Ophelia needed to be left alone and to have some agency and control over her life, and she needed to not be mistreated by every single person that she was connected with. And she really was treated poorly for not doing anything. She didn't really do anything wrong the whole time. She just did what she was told, and she was just consistently punished for that. So it really was, it's the tragedy of all women in that time period and now who don't have any control over their own body, their own life, their own like sense of self. And that is the fate of Ophelia, is death because of mistreatment and negligence, and the refusal for people and authorities to take accountability for their actions. So that's my little rant about Hamlet. You should read it. It's amazing. You can find the Folgers edition, which has lots of good notes, for like $6 at Barnes & Noble or wherever you buy books. There's usually a copy of Hamlet. It's amazing. And then if you have the Folgers edition, you can do the Archangel version. It's free on YouTube. It's got world-class actors. They have one for nearly every single Shakespeare play. And it's like an audio only version, and it's the full text, so it will go almost word for word along with the text if you have like the Folgers edition or an edition that has the whole text. So that's my advertisement for Hamlet. That's my explanation of the actual fate and tragedy of Ophelia, and that's my defense of it makes sense in the Taylor Swift mythos. I just don't think she should have chose that specific character because it's wrong. But also the song is a banger. Like I do enjoy dancing to it. So I'm still grappling with that because I am such a diehard Shakespeare fan, and Hamlet is my favorite play by Shakespeare. So just don't claim that it's correct. Acknowledge that it's wrong, and then you can enjoy it for what it is, which is a very fun song about a woman who's saved by a new relationship. Not Ophelia, though. Ophelia needed to be left alone. So we're going to let Ophelia rest, and we're going to enjoy the song as a song about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Cool. All right. Thanks for listening to me rant.